Hello everybody, welcome back to the Craft Beer Hub. I've got another beer review for you, and it is of this. This is Lords Brewing Company's Weekend Driver. It is a double fermented limited edition version. Now it's double fermented because obviously it's fermented in the tank, and then it's also secondary fermented in the bottle. I believe it's a bitter. I don't really want to look at the thing. Yeah, it's an English bitter. It's an English bitter. I've not had this yet. I believe there's a beautiful, beautiful E-Type Jag driving through the countryside. Look at that. Oh, what a car that is. My wife's grandfather had two when he was in his financial days. Oh, I'd love to have driven one. Well out of my price range, that's for sure. I believe this... I'm going to leave John actually to talk about this beer if he wants to talk about it in further detail. But this is bottle number 2. John very kindly gave us these. Is it there? No, it's there. There you go, bottle number 2. John very kindly put wraps on these bottles and got them out to us when we met Paul at the Creative Juices tap room where Paul works. I've got my Brew London glass, which is kind of a trad glass, roughly. I don't have many trad glasses, much more of a craft beer focused channel. But it's nice to come back to, and obviously a bitter brewed primarily by a craft brewer, so I'm well up for that. Plain black bottle cap. Let's get this open. A 500ml bottle. Lovely kind of matte finished can wrap, or bottle wrap I should say. Let's get it in. Oh, boom, look at that. Lovely smoky bottle open. Yeah, look. It's going to overflow. I've got to get it in. Sign of a proper bottle fermented beer, that, when it starts to overflow when you pull the top. Boom. There we go. English bitters or traditional bitters, not normally something I normally drink, but I do find that when I come back to them, I do enjoy them. So yeah, probably need to take sort of my own advice on that really and drink a bit more of it. But what have we got in the glass? We've got a beautiful caramel copper. I want to go dark copper actually. Beer, carbonation's doing bits in the glass. This Brew London glass isn't the best for doing YouTube with because you can't really see much through the graphics, but we've got a one finger slightly off white pillowy soft head, pillowy foamy head. It looks great in the glass. Traditional English bitter every single day of the week, that's for sure. Let's get a nose in, see what we get. Caramel. Lovely traditional sort of ale malts. The caramel's there, it's bready. Subtle hint of citrus, but not too much. It's more about the malt, this beer, it seems. It smells sort of slightly earthy and not grassy, because grassy suggests sort of like a straw, but definitely more earthy, definitely more sort of more of a robust smell, that. But it smells pretty good. What ABV was it? Sorry, I didn't even talk about this. It's 3.9%. So it's bang on the money for an English traditional bitter, isn't it? Cheers, everybody. I like it. I like it. Lovely sweet malty bready caramel start. Lovely citrus. There is a lovely citrus note in the middle. Lovely lemony citrus. There's ever so slightly piney before it goes into a real lovely earthy bitterness. I can imagine that's really popular. I imagine on cask, that is really popular. It's got good mouthfeel as well. It isn't as thin as a lot of traditional English bitters. And a lovely earthy bitterness at the end to balance things off. Lovely balanced beer, this one. That's one thing I would say. I haven't said that in a while about a beer, but I would say that it's lovely and balanced. Ever so slightly sweet at the start with those bready sort of caramelly malts. Lovely citrus in the middle to let you know it's got some hops in it. And then at the back end it's earthy, quite robust. And ever so slightly dry. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. For a bitter, it's a style that I don't drink generally. Excuse me, that's pretty good. Right then, 3.9%. An Old English bitter that is superbly well balanced. I would agree with that. Slightly sweet and full of flavour. A perfect beer for that country pub. Yeah. On cast, this would be a better beer, 100%. Take a little bit of that carbonation away. It is relatively well carbonated because it is secondary fermented in the bottle. It is relatively well carbonated. But I think if you take that carbonation away and just, from a cask, this would be really, really good. Like, really, really good. This bottle of beer has been hand-filled, secondary fermented and labelled to give the ultimate purist experience. This beer is completely unfiltered and will contain sediment. Ideally store upright, be careful pouring if you don't want sediment in your glass. There we go. Hops are Dana and Sovereign. So Dana, I believe, from chatting to John, it's a hop that they use often, Lords Brewing Company. They do like a bit of Dana. And I think Dana is what gives those Lords beers that typical bitter finish. Then Sovereign, that's like an old English hop. That I remember. I'm from Kent. I grew up around sort of like the old Kent hop farms. You used to hear about the hops back in the day when I used to live in Kent as a kid. And yeah, I'll tell you what, John, that's really, really good. For a style that I don't drink normally, I've really enjoyed that. That is way better than your Southwold bitters, Master brews. You know, I'm not going to go into like Masters and stuff like that because I don't drink the stuff I don't know. But sort of like the best bitters from the macro brewers or the big regional brewers in the UK, that is way better than them. Superbly easy drinking. It's light, but it has got a nice bit of mouthfeel. My dad would really like that, like really like that, and just because he drinks a lot of traditional beers. How am I going to rate it then? I'll tell you what, for a traditional beer, I really, really like it. It's one of the best bitters I can remember having. I don't know if I've ever enjoyed a better best bitter, if I'm honest. So in terms of best bitters that I've drunk, and bear in mind this is a craft beer channel, if you drink a lot of traditional ale, you will have a broader palate than I've got. It's up there. It's a 5 out of 5. I absolutely love that. And I'm not saying it because it's John. That is a fantastic beer. And I don't drink a lot of best bitters, but I've really, really enjoyed that. Thanks very much, guys. Get in the comments. Let me know what you think. Obviously, it is kind of a bit like craft beer drinker tries traditional ale or traditional beer. But that's got a lot of qualities in it. And even that's a lot of qualities that I appreciate as a craft beer drinker. It's not all just malty and earthy and metallic like a lot of these big regional brewers. That's all they can brew. It's got a lot of character, this beer. I like the mouthfeel. I like the citrus in the middle. I love the bitterness. I love the sweet malt to start. It's just a perfectly balanced beer. I absolutely love it. Get in the comments, let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, guys, if you'd be so kind. I will see you on the next one. Cheers.